you with that.
Good morning, everybody. It's Kelly from the Hub. I'm here today with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. Pastor Jim, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's a little warm out, but hey, it is summer.
Yeah, it's officially summer. Yeah, not my favorite season. Yeah.
Not my favorite, but I can deal with it. As long as we don't have humidity, I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So so for all the viewers who watch us, Pastor Jim and I routinely talk for a bit before we actually start recording, which is really sort of fun for us. And we were tossing around a lot of ideas on this one, and I think we're going to talk about the sort of big topic of how do you look at different? We're talking both about like doing things online is different, both in the Hub and the library world that I live in and in the church world that he lives in. And we're exploring what that means. And so let's talk about the online world and how things are different. How are things different in church? What's this online world like?
Different.
And
it's quite interesting for all of us, I think, to experience a pandemic together so that we might realize that different is okay. And different can actually open up a whole lot of doors that would have never expected or we would have never traveled through on our own. So I think sometimes with different, it comes out in ways that it's like, we're kind of forced to look at things differently. And the online world, at least in my experience with church, has exploded.
How?
I mean, it's just like, everybody seems to be offering worship services online or weekly devotions. Some churches I've seen are doing daily Bible studies or daily meditations. Some are doing matin services, which is an early morning service, or evening vespers before you go to bed. And it's like, wow. And it's not that these congregations didn't do them before. It's just that now they're being presented in a different way, It's not in person, but for a lot of us, our in-person has come this way on a screen.
Yeah, and
it's
okay. I gotta tell you, it was a jump for someone like me who really likes to hang out with people. It was a jump to do it like this. And I did feel disconnected. And I guess it depends on who it is. Sometimes I still do. But sometimes it's really awesome.
You're speaking my language, friend. Because, I like to be out among people too. I want to hear what's going on. I want to engage. I want to see what's going on your face and your facial expressions and all that. And not that you don't get that on the screen, but it's kind of like, but I just so want to be able to get closer. But what I've discovered with this new online stuff, especially with church and faith communities, is we have different people showing up. And when I say different people showing up, it's people that are showing up that are not in our neighborhoods. It's not like the local person down the street. It's the person across the country. And in some places, it's across the world. It's on the other side of the world. This technology that we've all sort of like complained about for most of our lives, since technology has been around for the last, 15, 20 years maybe, or whatever. We complained about it, but yet this is the thing that's keeping us connected, and it's different. I can give you an example. So for viewers that don't know, Bergstrasse Lutheran Church and Holy Trinity Lutheran Church here in Ephrata have been doing online worship services together. And that was kind of birthed because Pastor Mark there and I both looked at each other and said, what do we do now? And we both just talked for a little bit and said, well, we've got to figure something out online. And neither one of us had ever done anything like this. Neither one of us had learned how to produce videos in seminary.
Right. Not a normal class when you're learning about the Bible, right?
But we found people that were in our own communities who could help us do that. So when we post our virtual worship services online right now, we are discovering that people are viewing it from places that we would have never, ever thought of before. Every place that we post, we can get some analytics from it that tells us not who, but where. We have touched people in 15 different states. That doesn't include Pennsylvania. And it's like, who would have ever thought that? Who would have ever thought that? And I think, this is the only thing I can say is that the people from our own congregations are telling their family and friends who live out of state. But that's the way it works. That's the way we share. And it's been very mind-blowing, but also very life-giving for faith communities. Those of us that, never thought we could do this are doing pretty well at it, I want to say. If you can touch lives and you have no idea how you do it, that's the message of the gospel of Jesus, if I can say it that way. It's different. It's not anything that I was ever taught. It's not anything that any of us ever thought we would embrace. But I am also not that naive to realize that it doesn't work for some people.
Right.
And quite frankly, the hardest part of it is the technology is not available in some areas, or it's spotty at best.
And you have to have a certain level of gumption to say, I'm going to embrace this and I'm going to try it. Because it's easy to just go, nope, not for me. And
so can I change the word gumption to curiosity?
Yes. Yeah, and
curiosity to try something different. Yeah. And let it embrace you. You don't have to embrace it. Let it embrace you, and each of us. And then I think once we figure that out, how do we let anything that's new embrace us so that it brings us into the fold of whatever that is? It's going to feel much more comfortable than trying to fight it. It doesn't work that way for anything that's different. We want to fight it, which gets us nowhere.
Right. That means we're spending a lot of time spinning our wheels and not progressing anywhere.
Right. So it's this whole online stuff has been like, prior to March the 13th, I would have never, and I know you should never say never, but I would have never thought that I would be having more of an online presence than ever before. And it's changing lives. It's transforming people. And in my world, that's what I'm called to do.
Yeah, that's sort of the point. And
to help people to see life differently.
Right. And in my world, that's also the point. We have different content, but our jobs are similar in that we are helping people get better than how they were before.
Yeah. So what are you doing at the Hub that's different? What has happened there? We've heard about church, but
we've been doing a ton of online programming, a ton. These interviews are out there for a lot of people. We have a lot, and we're making sure that they're very diverse, so that we're talking to people in social services and the faith community and the health community and education community and local government. This week we're doing something with some local government officials, and it's to help us all to make sure and to use this medium to be able to reach as many people as possible. And And you're right. I never envisioned that this would be. I mean, I'm a hands-on girl. I've been doing that for 100 years, and being hands-off to me, pardon me, felt a little bit like I was being a failure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had to work that through. I had to work out. I had to touch you and hug you and love on you, and that was how I was going to be able to help you. And I'm still, and I think we all are, those of us who do this for a living. How can I help you and do all those things and have you be you and I'll be here? But it's working.
Yes, and thank you for sharing that, because I think that's awesome, because to be able to show, at least I will say from my perspective, that I think it's good for people to hear, is that, you know, this kind of different is happening in everybody's world. It's not just our own personal world, it's happening in our spiritual world too. And for people that think that church and life should be separated, I'm here to tell you, no, they need to be embracing each other. And that's part of it. And how do we do those differences together? How do we share with one another? And it is, this time, I think, has been a great learning experience for everyone. How do we live differently? And we can live fully in difference.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people were like, well, I can do different, but I'm never going to be full. And I think that also, once again, never say never. And it's, you, if you're going to be full, if you want to be full, you will be. But if you say that you can't, then you won't. And so.
Preach it.
I like the difference. I like it.
And I'm going to say, from where I'm coming from, we're going to continue to have an online presence. I personally feel that it is something that we need to explore more fully and be a part of it. I mean, for those that know me, you know, I'm certainly a person who doesn't believe that church is in a building with four walls. Church is a place wherever you meet somebody and you hear their story, and you embrace the differences that each of you bring to that situation.
And I think having that sort of hybrid model of, we can do things in person and we can do things like this, might just have all of us hit our sweet spot.
You know, you used a word there that I think maybe we need to lift up. It's not a matter of this or this. It's a matter of this and this. You know, too often I think we say that it's got to be one thing or the other, but the reality is the world is about both and it can work for either way. I as a faith leader can hit people personally in face to face, and I can also embrace them through a screen, through virtual. And you know what? The people on the screen don't have to be right next door to me. They can be a world away.
And I think for those of us who have that kid inside of us who love movies and love going to the big screen so that you can see everything so large and big, when I do interviews with people, I feel like I'm in your space with you. So, which is why visually, I don't like the funky backgrounds, because that wrecks it for me. I want to be in your den. So I see it that way. I'm with you. I just happen to be in my house. But mentally, I'm in your space. And that makes it really good. Makes it good.
It's a very different way of welcome, and it's a different way of helping each other to see that we are real people, that we are authentic people. I mean, you know, yeah, this is my office. you see that all of my books are not lined up in perfect lines and straight lines, and and that my curtain is a blanket. It's.
Hey,
I
I
know we.
brought it up before. If you're in my space, you got that nasty ass wallpaper border.
But as you said, it says that we are real people. We are not superficial. We're authentic. We try to be authentic as best we can, and that's all I ask of anybody else too. That you share your full self.
Yeah.
Let me embrace the differences.
Right,
Will
because when it all comes down to it, we ain't so different.
Exactly.
We're just not. We're just not.
We are not. We are all very much the same.
And different is so good. Good.
We just want to be loved.
Oh.
Just want to know that people love me and care about each other.
That's the perfect way to end this.
Mm.
Thank you, my friend, as always. Good to talk about differences with you.
You bet. Have a great week, friend.
You too. Bye-bye.